Well, all right, here we are today. I'm going to do my luxury gear challenge video putting together today. I've been trying to put this together for a week or so, and would love to be outside doing this. The weather's not really great today, so we're inside, but we're going to make it through these three items. If you're not familiar with the luxury gear challenge, I'm supposed to highlight three luxury items that I take with me on backpacking trips. And luxury items are items that are not necessary. I can get away with not taking them, but they're items that make the trip just a little more comfortable, a little more enjoyable. Some of these items have been fairly common, throughout the videos that I've seen, and there have been a lot of people, almost everyone that I follow, their channels have been challenged to do these and have put these together. But I think I have a couple that are relatively unique, and so I hope you enjoy. I was challenged by Tony over at Bluecollar Backcountry. He's got a great channel. If you haven't seen Tony's videos, if you're not subscribed to Bluecollar Backcountry, I urge you to do so. I'll put his link down in the description box. Tony probably has the funniest of all of the luxury gear item videos that I've seen so far. He's super entertaining. He does videos, he does gear reviews, he does backpacking videos, and he has been doing more mountain biking content recently. And so go check Tony out and give him a follow. I'll have two channels that I'll challenge here towards the end, possibly three, towards the end of my video. Some channels that I'd like to see what things they carry in their packs. But here we go. So this first item is, again, it's something that's been fairly common through a lot of these gear videos that I've seen, and that is a Z-seat. Now this is the Thermarest Z-seat. You've seen them before, I'm sure. Pretty common out there these days. Simple foam section made by Thermarest, and this actually is my daughter's version of this. I have one that's very similar, and I actually don't take the Z-seat anymore. What I've switched to is a smaller version. This is a kind of a Chinese knockoff. The name on here is Jungle Leopard. I'm not quite sure if that's the company name or what. I just happened to find this on Amazon. It weighs about half of what the Z-seat weighs. And more important for me is it's far less bulky, as you can see. And this thing fits in the front pocket of my backpack with very little notice. And so for that reason alone, it's kind of taken the place of the Z-seat in my pack. Serves much of the same function as the Z-seat, just putting it on a log, a rock to sit on during breaks, and use it outside of my tent to stand on, for a dry spot to stand on in the morning as I'm preparing for the hiking day. But I'll put all of these links to all of these items down in the description box. Again, this is about half the weight of the Z-seat and far less expensive. The Z-seat itself is not a really expensive item, but this is only, I think it's $2 on Amazon, and so you can buy probably a dozen of these for what one Z-seat would cost you. That's the first item. Second item is a trail guide. Haven't seen people talk about this yet as a luxury item, and it's certainly not necessary most of the time. The other thing is there's not a trail guide available for every backpacking trip that I go on. However, when it is available, I've decided that it's something that's probably going to find its place in my pack, despite the fact that a lot of these are pretty heavy. This happens to be the one for the JMT. Hopefully I'll be on the JMT in summer of 2020, and that's why I have this, and I've been kind of pouring through it and just kind of familiarizing myself with the trail and a lot of the information that goes into planning the hike. The last major hike that I went on was last summer. I did the Vermont Long Trail, and I kicked around the idea of taking the trail guide for the long trail with me, and finally decided to take it. And man, I was so glad that I did. Every evening I would read the section that I was going to hike, read about the section I was going to hike the next day. And man, I just felt so much more informed when I was hiking, not just about the kind of physical terrain and landmarks and stuff like that, but information about the wildlife, the kinds of trees I was seeing, historical significance perhaps of the areas I was going through. And for that reason, man, it was more than worth the weight penalty. The other nice thing about it, it's kind of like food. The further you walk, the lighter your pack gets, because what I was doing with my guidebook is every time I would finish a section, I would rip that section out and either burn it or discard it. And usually not burn it, I would discard it in town. I'd usually wait till I got to town before I threw that section away. And so by the end of the trip, all I had was really the back cover, and that's why I'm using this one rather than the one that I've already used on trail to show you. But I'll tell you that that's something that, when available, I'll almost always take with me from this point on. The last thing is, and this is my pack. I'm using these days the Osprey Exos 48. This is the newer version of the Exos that does not have hip belt pockets. Now, that did not bother me at all that it doesn't have hip belt pockets, because when I was using the Osprey Atmos before this one, the pockets just didn't suit me well. They were sometimes difficult to open on the move. They weren't very big. The shape of them made things difficult to kind of get in, put in and take out. And so even before I switched over to the Exos, I started experimenting with a fanny pack, wearing a fanny pack on the front so that I could access items easily. And I bought an REI fanny pack, and that served me well for a few trips. And in fact, that's what I used on the Vermont Long Trail this past summer. However, it wasn't quite perfect, and it was a little heavier than I wanted. So I set my sights on the Z-Packs 4-in-1 pack, and you can see I have it situated here, hanging. There are some little attachment straps that you attach to the points on your shoulder pads or your shoulder straps, and they clip. The small pack clips nicely in right there, and you can completely detach it. This pack hangs right in front. It doesn't bounce around. Has more than enough room for really anything I need to carry. I carry my phone in here. I carry snacks, guidebooks. You can see I've got what I would normally carry is kind of like my wallet Ziploc with journal and pens and money and debit cards and stuff like that. Guidebook. This one happens to be the one for the Foothills Trail, which I plan on doing. My daughter and I are going to through hike over the spring break here in a couple of weeks. But this is just, I've used this on one weekend trip so far, and just I'm in love with it at this point. It comes with a couple of larger straps to kind of carry along with it. So when you're in town on an extended trip, you can attach straps to either wear as a fanny pack or as kind of a shoulder bag hang, which I found to be really nice this summer in Vermont to have that fanny pack that I could take with me to town and just kind of keep everything together. And this serves really that same purpose. So the Z-Packs 4-in-1 is just an awesome item. It's super light. I haven't even really weighed it yet, I don't believe. I'll put that down in the description box, but it weighs almost nothing when it's empty. It's made out of Cuban fiber, Dyneema, I guess is what they're calling it these days. But Z-Packs, a Florida company that most have heard of, growing in popularity all the time with their tents and backpacks. But I think this is the item, kind of the unsung hero their product line right here. So that's my third luxury item. Certainly don't need any of these things, but they make my trips on the trail more comfortable and more convenient, and these are the items that you'll find in my pack on virtually every backpacking trip from here on out. All right, now I guess I need to challenge a few fellow backpackers. A couple that I haven't seen yet. Gator Miller, if you haven't followed his channel, I was so happy to see Gator posting here recently after being off of YouTube for a little bit of a break. Gator has done the AT, he's done the Vermont Long Trail, has some great series on both of those trails that I found useful, particularly the Long Trail series before taking my own long trail end-to-end hike. And he's getting ready, he's now married with child, and they have a baby, and they're getting ready to take a long trail through hike, I think this year, with the baby in tow, so that should be really interesting. The second one I'm going to challenge today is Benny from Plug It In Hikes. Benny's a pretty popular hiker out there on social media. He's kind of the king of the Smoky Mountains, and has some great videos on Smoky Mountain day hikes and extended, longer extended hikes that I think if you're interested in the Smoky Mountains you'd find really helpful. And right now he happens to be in the middle of his JMT series. He hiked the JMT, I believe it was about a year ago, or maybe less than a year, but he's got those videos coming out now, a couple a week at least, and so I think he's nearing the end of that series. And then the third channel that I want to challenge, and I'm not sure if he's been challenged yet, that would be Chris Goes Outdoors. He just hiked the Appalachian Trail, I guess it was the year before last, probably 2017, I think is when he completed his through hike, and he has a lot of great, has a great series that he vlogged during his AT hike, but also has a ton of videos on hikes in the White Mountains. He's based out of, I believe, either Massachusetts or New Hampshire. So go check those three guys out. Hopefully they'll be willing to put together their luxury item videos, and even if not, their channels are more than worth going to check out and subscribing to if you're not subscribed to them already. Well, that'll do it for today. I appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And until next time, this is Valise Outdoors. We'll see you soon.